Peace and blessings and namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and I have a very quick topic, and we're going to discuss how to balance our dualities because we have them, okay? And we need to get to a point where we can centralize these two polarities of our nature, okay? And I thought that the best way to get this across is to go back to the beginning so you can understand how this even came about, all right? So, first things first, to let you know, I identify with being Hebrew, all right? Now, when I'm saying Hebrew, it's important that you don't associate that with me saying that I'm Jewish, okay? I'm not Jewish. I am Hebrew, okay? But I'm in Hebrew in its original definition, all right? So, we're going to break this down, all right? Okay. The word Hebrew derives from ancient Ugarit, okay? And the true word is considered Ibri. Have you heard of that before? Ibri? Okay, it comes from Abar, all right? And it's been translated to Hebrew, all right? But what does Ibri mean? Ibri means to cross over or to come from beyond, okay? Bet you didn't know that. But now you do. Okay. So when we're identifying an ancient race or multidimensional beings, or many of us who have been here, you know, I guess being reincarnated over and over again, the terminology for those who cross over were the original beings who transitioned from a different dimension and came here to this earth. Okay. Once they did that, this is when the duality started to hit. Okay. Follow me when I say this. In the beginning, there were Elohim, okay? They considered themselves Hebrew or Ibri, okay? And in our Bibles, when we see the word Hebrew, we need to automatically be thinking those who crossed over or come from beyond, all right? Not a religion. Not a religion, but those who came from behind. So this were your original Elohims, okay, that had crossed over or entered into this dimension. Before they entered into this dimension, many of them, if not all of them, were light. Okay, light beings. Okay, positive polarities came here to do a job. What happened? The same thing that happens to most of us. The density of this earth interacting with other beings, forgetting who we are, we developed another personality or another persona. And this one was kind of more of a negative polarity. Okay. All right. So what ended up happening is we started to pick up another identity based off of the density of this earth. Because when many of us got stuck here, okay, and the way that our earth was being governed and the people that we were interacting with and trying to teach humanity, it becomes very easy to get sucked up in a reality that did not belong to you. All right. So many of our ancestors or the Elohim who crossed over here, who were Ibri, okay, I don't care if they were in Egypt, I don't care if they were in India, they came from beyond. So they are Ibri. All right. And what happened? They got here, they got caught up in the densities. Pride may have come kicked in, okay? Being all powerful, knowing more than others. So we developed another persona, all right? And this persona was more of the falling state, all right? So you had a group of beings that was elevated here, crossed over, okay, and then went through a fall, a losing of oneself, losing of the connection to the divine, all right, and became more self-willed, all right. So these beings ended up having a duality to their nature, one light, one dark, all right. Now, why is this important? It's important because many of these beings who were stuck here because of the fall and because of the interactions with humans, okay, because of their interactions with society and governments, they entered into a fallen state, being hung up into this density and was not able to make it back home. All right. Now, Because they could not understand why it was that they couldn't make themselves back home, some of these beings begin to split their consciousness. Follow me. All right. So instead of having one being with a dark and a light side, in an effort to cheat the system, many of them split themselves. Okay. So that one was just considered light and had one name under an emanation and another under another name and an emanation. And they thought that the light version of them could make it out of this earth. Not the case, dear. Okay. So what ended up happening was both beings got stuck here. All right. Because you can't split yourself like that and think that you're escaping karma and going back home, because that negative polarity or duality is still a part of you and that singular consciousness. All right. So what we have to do here while we are here is understand and identify with our duality. Like, I know the version of me that is dark. I know the version of me that is light. I cannot run from the version of me that was dark. Okay. What we had to do was shadow work and incorporate both. All right. So I had to take and confront the version of me that was dark, and I had to bring it into myself and then purify its light so that I could become whole again. Okay. This is how we establish, once again, the equilibrium and the holistic. Now, if there is a part of you that is too dark, you can also do like Shiva. Okay. This is one of the lessons that Shiva taught us. Shiva inwardly had to deal with lust. All right. And it was bothering him to the point where it was holding him back from reaching his highest level of elevation. All right. Once Shiva was able to identify his lust, the tale goes that he sat into meditation and brought the lust out of him. Okay. So the lust that was in him, he manifested. It became a being and he fought it and conquered it. Okay. So then Shiva was able to defeat his lust and then go back to a risen state. Some of us have yet to do this. Okay, you know that dark nature is there. You can feel it when it rises. All right. You ever try to be peaceful, harmonious, talking to somebody and they're just spitting off nonsense, and you feel that fire start to rise up, that anger, but then you just suppress it and then start to talk? That's that negative polarity that's trying to rear its head. All right. So what do we do with that duality? What do we do with the negative aspect of ourselves? We confront it and we bring it back into ourselves, because once you are ready to approach your negative aspect, you have to be more filled with light to do it, because light purifies it. All right. So if you run from the parts of yourself that you don't like, or you suppress the parts of yourself that you don't like, you do not have the ability to grow, nor will you have the ability to ascend. Okay, so splitting consciousness never worked, but it was a lesson to be learned behind this. The lesson was that we had to face any part of our natures that is in opposition to our higher self. Okay, and you can do it in one of two ways. You can pull it out of you and confront it like Shiva did, or you embrace your darkness. Embrace your darkness. Speak to your darkness and try to understand where it is coming from. Is it trauma? Is it a past life? Whatever it is, we want to embrace it and bring it into ourselves so that we can purify it and heal it and make it whole. All right? So that we can be Ibri again and cross back over. All right? Now, when we're struggling with our duality, okay, it comes across as being bipolar. Other people and other beings don't know how to handle that. All right. Because one day you're beautiful, loving, and kind, and the world is great. The next day that duality kicks in and you're somebody else completely. Okay. Everything's going wrong. I don't like this. I want to get out of here. I want, negative energy. Okay. You should be able to identify when your duality starts to show up, because you don't feel the same. All right. And if you are one who really, really pays close attention to your own nature, your own psyche, your own emotional body, your own spiritual, you'll be able to tell when this other one starts to show up. I know that I'm able to tell it because I have to be very patient with people. Okay. And sometimes I'm sitting here and I can get to boiling point going, oh my God. And it doesn't help that I'm a Scorpio, so I have pincers, just like the Cancers, but I also have a tail, a stinger too. All right. So beings like myself already identify with the dark. We already identify with dark. So it becomes harder for us to transmute that into light. Okay. Because we can slide back into the dark very easy. The Scorpio nature and the dragon energy is occultish. We're master occultists anyway. All right. Master alchemists anyway, because we're drawn to the dark. Okay, you have to understand that. And not saying drawn to the dark as opposed to drawn to negativity, but we're drawn to the mysteries. Okay, and it can get us in a lot of trouble if we don't know what we're doing. And so many people get into occult and alchemy and all of those things and get lost. Bad things happen to them. Okay, but because I identified with being Ibri and my whole life story played out the way that it was supposed to, I want to show you something right now. Okay? Hold on. Are you able to see that tattoo? Okay? That tattoo is a prayer. It's a prayer written in Hebrew, ancient Hebrew. Okay? And the prayer reads as thus: Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et derech hayeshua, v'mashiach Yeshua Baruch Hu. And basically what my prayer is saying is peace and blessings to the creator, the almighty creator of the universe, who have given us our son, Jesus, as a means of salvation. So this here is how I sealed myself. Okay? I got this tattoo when I was about 36 years old. Okay, I went ahead and I put that seal on me. I'm not suggesting that y'all do that. Okay, I was led to do that. Okay, by my husband. All right, so that's why I got the seal. All right, now another thing, noticing through our walk and balancing out my duality. Here's another tattoo. Do you see that symbol? All right, that one I got out of the military. It means strength. Okay, so what I did with going through my journey, understanding my nature, understanding everything that I needed to accomplish, was I decided I'm going to seal myself with a prayer, and then I'm going to represent who I came here to be with that symbol. That symbol simply means strength. It's Japanese kanji, okay? And it means strength or strong. All right. That one came from the military. This one came from my spirituality. These are the only two markings that I have on my body. But I did that to keep reminding myself of where I came from and where it is that I am going. Okay. So we want to master our duality. Okay, and you need to understand the nature of your duality. And the only way to understand the nature of your duality is to go backwards in time. All right? Now, you can do it from the time you were a child up into an adult. Look at the patterns, look at the trends, look at the things that you're going through. When I'm saying patterns and trends, I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about career. Okay? I'm talking about schooling. I'm talking about social. Okay, being reared, how your relationships was with your parents or your family, your bosses, your friends, what all did you get accomplished in this lifetime? And does it tell a story about you? Once you are able to identify that it tells a story about you, then what you can do is look and analyze this story to find out where the duality hits in. What is triggering you? Where does the trauma come from? What makes you angry? Okay? What will cause your mind to go dark? What are your triggers? Yeah. Okay. And once you really start getting good at analyzing things, and these DNA upgrades still coming, then you'll know that you're not only analyzing from this lifetime, but you'll have the ability to jump timelines and see yourself in previous lifetimes. What did you go through then? Okay? Are some of the traumas that you had in your previous life, did they bleed over into this life? Do you have different weird phobias that you can't even explain or understand? I know I do. I was scared of spider webs for a very long time, which is interesting because I never was afraid of the spiders, just the web. I don't like spider webs. Okay? I will freak out. I've given myself a black eye because I walked into a spider web and it covered my entire face. I literally gave myself a black eye. And I had a cop named John that lived across the street from me during this time. This is a true story. A cop named John that lived across the street from me. And I was coming back from work that night, and I walked through past the bushes to go into my house, walked into a spider web, and was out there freaking out and grabbing and scratching and carrying on. And that cop, John, ran across the street, and he's like, oh my God, are you all right, fella? Are you all right? Type of thing. And I'm going, yeah. And then he's looking around, he's got his hand on his gun, and I tell him that I walked into a spider web. A little bit embarrassing. Okay, but when I started to analyze the things that was bothering me, spider webs, static clean, I don't like craps, like cracks and things like that, I started to realize that there are things that bother me when it feels like they're sticking to me. So I don't like clinginess. All right? Why? Why did that happen? So even in my relationships with men, I had to figure out why the heck I wasn't as uh, affectionate or as emotional as most women. I was having a hard time expressing those type of things, and I would have a very loving, and gentle and sweet husband that only wanted to be close to me, or wanted to sit next to me, or always wanted to hug and touch and rub, very, very affectionate, very loving. And I couldn't get it because I'm thinking to myself, there's a whole couch here. Why are you right here? I need my personal space. I need my personal space. I need my personal space. I'm the personal space woman. But through time, I realized that what was happening was if somebody got too close to me, I automatically put up a wall. And the spider webs and the static clean were showing me that in a way I didn't like to be clinged to. I didn't want people holding me. I didn't want to express that type of vulnerability. Okay, everything made me feel like I was being trapped. I had to face that one too. We don't know some of the things that we bring with us in this lifetime when we cross over from previous lifetimes. But if you really want to know what's plaguing you, what's bothering you, and why certain things make you feel uncomfortable or don't make sense, the best thing I can tell you to do is the shadow work and face your duality. Figure out why you're so angry at things that don't need to be angry about. Figure out why you're scared, all of those things. Okay? Because we did not pick this up until we crossed over here. We didn't have this duality. So now we have to figure out how to get back into equilibrium so that we can cross back over again. And until we have the ability to become whole again, we're still going to be stuck here. So my assignment to you is to take some time and reflect over your life. Reflect over the things that hurt you. Reflect over the things that are giving you triggers, that make you uncomfortable, that make you angry, or give you anxiety. Does it have to do with love? Do some of you, light workers and warriors, have an issue with affection or emotion? Do you have issues with anger and frustration, find out what it is. Because some of you have issues with anger and frustration because you know that you came from a place where things were easy to you. All you had to do was snap your fingers and things would get done. And now you're having the human experience and you got to work for it. It don't feel good. It doesn't feel good. But acceptance is the easiest way to get out of this loop, okay? Going with the flow of the universe, understanding why you are here, okay? Why you are here, and just getting the job done makes a world of a difference. But for those of you who are Ibri, do the work so that you can get out of here and go home. I am Sophie, and I love you all.